Welcome everybody to the July market update. This is David Keyte with Bend Relo. We're starting this month off with a really interesting breakdown of activity for each various price point. This is off the Beacon report. It's a little blurry here, but you can see, like, for example, each one is a 50K price increment. So right here is 500 to 550. The blue is how many sales last month. So we had 13 closings in that increment last month. The gray is the closings in the last 12 months. And the green is how many are currently listed. The current listed is only a small fraction of how many sold in the last 12 months at the 500 to 550 price point. The most active price point in Bend is this 600 to 650. As you can see, that's where the most sales are happening, is the 600 to 650. What's very interesting is the high end of this market is so nuanced right now. The 1.8 million and above only had 5 closings last month. Meanwhile, there's 77 listed homes above 1.8 million. So that would take us a year and a quarter to sell all those homes at the rate we were going in June. So above 1.4, same thing. You know, we're seeing lots of listings above 1.4 million. And so that's why you're going to see the median price fluctuate, because some months 30% of the closings happen over that 1 million price point, and then other months only 15% of the closings happen over $1 million. Just to dive in a little deeper to that nuance, but this is an interesting breakdown. So check out our blog for a clearer version of this chart if you have interest in seeing what your price point is doing. Mortgage rates have really flattened out here. We've kind of come down a little from the highs, and we're just been steady Eddie at 6.75 for, you know, a good portion of 2025. It's been very interesting to see everyone clamoring for lower rates. Everyone wants the Fed to lower them. We've just kind of been staying steady. So I love the meme where they're like, date the rate, marry the house, and you've been waiting to date your rate, date the rate, and it's 3 years in and you're turned to a skeleton. You've been waiting so long to refinance a house purchase. So just some humor surrounding this, but this is like long-term rates. 6 has been pretty much the median rate for decades. So back to what's considered kind of the normal rate. We got some action on the Beacon report. Big headline is the price is down, and that's because less luxury homes are transacting this month. The big total closings is up. This is one of the busiest months we've had in quite some time, which is great to hear. Inventory is staying steady at 5 months, and days on market ticked up just a little bit. MLS data, we got close to 900 active listings, which is quite a lot. Well over half of these have changed price, and 5.6 is the average amount of price adjustment negative that we've seen. Something to keep in mind is that 38% of these listings will not sell this year. That is the statistic that we have currently. So, you know, that's shadow inventory. That means what 38% is probably, 350 listings are just irrelevant. They're sitting there making their neighbors look better priced. And so something to keep in mind that not all these sellers are motivated right now. In fact, a lot of them aren't. Okay, here's your median price chart. So much volatility, and we think this is really more of an indication of what percent of the homes in Bend are selling each month over $1 million. That's skewing this number. Same thing, we're seeing price per square foot just kind of having these bouncing around anomalies. The supply number stays higher than we've seen, and it makes it a lot nicer for buyers who are shopping to have some things to choose from. However, with that said, even though it seems like a lot, the really hot listings are still having multiple offers. We saw our spring phenomenon that we see every spring. We were all excited for it. Last 2 springs, the days on market went down to 10. This year we only saw 22, so it's not quite as a rip-roaring busy market, but still this is not too shabby as far as time of days on market. The number of sales this month, it's nice to see that tick up. 166 is higher than we've seen since June of 2023. So it does feel like there's some pent-up demand out here. It's definitely a nuanced market, but there's people who have been waiting forever who are just sick of waiting and pulling the trigger right now. Bottom line, volatility equals opportunity. It is situationally dependent, meaning every buyer and every seller has different motivations, different needs. And so just being open-minded and preparing to approach each situation, getting ready to understand who you're negotiating with, what's important to them. That way you can advocate for what's important to you most effectively. We've got pent-up demand. It's 3 years and counting of wet blanket interest rates, and doesn't look to be changing anytime soon, folks. Interest rates are what they are, prices are what they are, and you can wait, people can wait, but the market can wait longer. So if you're someone who's in the camp of, I'm just going to wait till rates come down, then I'm going to do what I want to do, you could be waiting another 2-3 years. So we are encouraging people to do what you want to do. If you're thinking about making that move, do it. As long as you can afford your payments and you can plan on being in the place you're going to move for at least 3 years, we recommend investing in yourself and making the move. 38% of listings do not sell, which gives the market a very chilly temperature when you're navigating those listings and seeing them being on market for so long. But it is important to remember that those sellers don't care. Many of them do not care, and they will just pull the listing and continue to enjoy their home. Maybe try again another year. Will you make your move, or will you let the market dictate? That's what we've been seeing happening, is like people who have been fence sitting, but then saying enough's enough. I'm sick of waiting. The sort of a passive stance to just wait for the market to change in order to do something. So we are supporting people who are taking active swings in the market, whether it's buyers, sellers, people moving to Bend, people moving somewhere else. There's just a lot of different circumstances out there, and there's a path for success for everyone. You just need to have an experienced team to help you sort through the noise, and this year is more important than ever. We're seeing a lot of those barista realtors who had part-time, not full-time realtor, who were not as experienced. There's just not as many of them and still in the game. So it is very important to find someone who is doing business, who you can trust, that you can help sort through the noise and reach your goals. If you or anyone has a situation you'd like to consult on, myself or any Bend Relo team member would love to be of service.